PathMonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add PathMonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads where you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Alireza Shahrestani from Sponixtech, head of marketing with them. How are you doing today, Ali?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited and let's jump into it.
Definitely. In your own words, then tell us a little bit more about Sponixtech, Ali.
Sure. So Sponixtech is a high-end sports technology company that we specialize in very software-based solutions that can help leagues, broadcasters, and rights holders in the sports industry. We help them with the two main products that we have. One of them is Immersive Replay, which travels inside the head of the player and creates the angle and the scene from their perspective and their eyes in a very unique point. This could be on any player, including referees. The second product is the remote virtual advertising, which we seamlessly, by AI, replace the existing billboards virtually for different segments, meaning that a game can be played here in London and you can have different billboards virtually for different regions. So the people who see it in China or in the US or in Africa would be seeing different ads that are related to their industry and their region and their country and the language. We trying to target different messagings in different countries and different regions whilst the game is playing live.
So personalized content, love it.
Exactly.
So then, gotta ask, so that way our listeners can get a good understanding there of Sponixtech. Then what would be that key problem that you guys like to solve for clients?
The very key way for us to land in clients is that we do very personalized outreach and we do very customized proposals and tests. So the way that we conduct it and we do trials is that we send off personalized outreach messages to the right fit prospects and we ask them and invite them to do a test together, because this is a very high-end and trust is a very, very key asset when it comes to this, because the value of what we do is being usually sold per second. So every second of the virtual advertising technology is valued, and therefore you need to be very precise on what you have to offer and you need to win their trust. So essentially our main point in landing clients is by doing customized outreach and arranging trials and tests periods.
Okay, perfect. All right. And so then, gotta ask, right? Don't want to assume here, but what would be, is there a vertical, the segment, what would be the ideal ICP for you guys?
So the very ideal would be probably the biggest right holders that have tournaments and it's happening over a longer period of time, which has enough commercial value in different regions. So for instance, let's say Champions League in football. That is something so valuable that most countries are streaming it and watching it, and it can be sold in different regions, in different languages, in different cultures differently. But if there's a friendly match that doesn't really have a commercial value in different regions, then there's no really point to do virtual advertising because you can't sell it and the sponsorship value wouldn't be as high. So the key and the most important thing is the games and the tournaments that the rights holders understand that they can sell the advertising and inventories in a different region.
Okay, great to hear that. And so then how would somebody usually find out then about Sponixtech? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yes, so essentially what we do is we work with very top tier consultants for them to do the door openings and the introductions. However, we have our main channel as LinkedIn and email marketing. And of course, we have the website as well, and we've invested quite heavily in our SEO and search engine optimization so we can be higher. But to be fair, the main landing page for us has been LinkedIn, because of we have a saying in B2B marketing, we say people buy from people. So the very personal touch that we managed to bring in on our LinkedIn pages has been, whether personal or business, has managed us to secure more trials, more tests, and make good relationship with the right holders and the right decision makers. And so far has been the highest return on investment.
Definitely some great, I mean, definitely referrals, you know, somebody that already somebody opened up that door for it listens. So it's always great to have those. So, and so that way our listeners who are tuned in then, Ali, so that way they could visit you, they could always check you out at Sponixtech.com. What role does the website play for your client acquisition?
So essentially we are, as I said, trust is so important in our journey. So I wouldn't say that we have so far managed to land in clients to the point of sales from website, and none of our competitors have done that as well. So it's more of a presentation and portfolio kind of thing, and a point to understand and read the testimonials and gain the trust. So it's a very great way for us to showcase, because the website is your passport, right? It's your identity. People identify you by your website. So the most important thing you can have as an asset in any marketing department is the website. There's no doubt about that. Whether you're a B2B, B2C, you know, B2G, anything, regardless of how you offer or how you operate in terms of your business model, website is your identity. So website has been obviously the core presentation point of our work, our portfolio, our testimonials, our projects, our news and updates and everything. However, we don't usually close deals on our website. We try to gain their interest, get their contact information, arrange meetings, and then arrange tests, and then trying to get closer to the closing point and trying to close them as a qualified lead.
Okay, great to hear that. So then, I mean, like you mentioned, some efforts there. Would there be any tools then, or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners to get some website lead generation?
So one of the things that we use regularly is Yoast for our SEO, and I think Yoast is very, very good in terms of how they are making SEO very easy and step by step. I mean, with the changes that you see with AI and with the world of AI and automation in the B2B marketing segments, you can definitely see in the near future we might have many new unicorns, and also many of the traditional leading businesses and frontiers that are, you know, working might see as a threat, or they might adapt AI and become again stay as the frontier of this whole movement. But Yoast is very good. So I think many companies, the one that were helping with their blogs, are really struggling now. Things such as Jasper, because now you can do it literally free of charge on ChatGPT. So essentially, I think if you want to build up your SEO, you can use ChatGPT and Yoast together. And with the combination of these two, that can work as a whole SEO department for you. Read it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that knowledge for our listeners. And well, let's switch gears a little bit, Ali, and let's talk about you as a leader there for Sponixtech. You being the head of marketing, what are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
Automation. And that is one of the very key areas that I would like to do, and I do, and I still have a lot to do, because the truth is you have so many leads, and you have people that you need to make sure the equilibrium in your demand and supply meets. And that is a lot of outreach and a lot of customized messaging. And the most important thing is to have a very automated CRM that the system works for itself. And whether you have enough talents or not, you can even replace it. But you either have a system-based business or you have a people-based business. And if you're a people-based business, there are so many threats that you're going to face, especially in the long term, because you have to heavily rely on the people, and you can't lose those people then, because you're going to lose a big chunk of your operation of the business. However, when you heavily invest on your systems, the systems will run for itself. So the system is like the guideline. You can replace different areas of the people who are working on the system, but the system becomes your core value. So I think one of the main key areas that I did is when I came, I tried to make things more autonomous and building systems within different segments of our work, whether it was lead generation, whether it was closing, whether it was, research and data gathering, whether it was hunting for opportunities and bringing agencies and sponsors. So we have very good systems right now in place, which can work on a very autonomous automation matter.
Okay, perfect, great. Thank you so much, Ali, for that. So then in your time then, how do you stay up to date with all the news in the marketing world as far as trends, strategies, news? Is there a preferred channel that you like to go with?
This is a very good question because I work in a sports industry. Obviously, there's two sides. For me, I am very much updated with tech, and I'm also very updated with sports. So one thing that I really love, I love reading about sports that are not relevant to my niche, to my competitors. For example, our main sport is football, but I try to read a lot about Formula One, a lot about tennis, about other sports, because the trends and the things that happens there would one way or another affect our industry as well. And I personally prefer podcasts because it's been, I think I put it in a lifestyle matter, and it's been 1.5 years that I don't listen to music. I just listen to podcasts. When I'm driving, that is just so convenient. I tried to run with podcasts. That doesn't work. Like if you go on treadmill and try to, man, that thing doesn't work. Like stick to music on that part. But when you're driving and you get used to listening to podcasts, then it just becomes a replaceable part of your life. And I'm very happy that I made the switch. And a couple of my friends started doing that after my suggestion, is doing very well. So if I want to say the main channels, I listen to World Football Summit, I listen to Sky News, I listen to trends that are happening with Sports Pro, with Sportel, different newsletters and different podcast channels that are very, very up to date about the technology, sports world, and right holders, sports tech, etc.
Definitely, I would agree with you. Right, I think in the gym listening to a podcast on the treadmill, definitely that's not a
good idea. Tried it many times.
Yeah, but yeah, the car, I've tried it. I like that. Also, when I'm in the morning when I'm making breakfast, definitely I'll put that on for like 15-20 minutes while I'm there, and then get the start day. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for sharing with that, Ali. And well, let's jump into our next section then here, Ali, which is our rapid fire question round.
Sure.
Ready for them?
Shoots, yeah.
All right. First off, then, is what is the last book that you read?
Actually got it here. I'm in midway. So the Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is a phenomenal salesman, has many books around selling. And I'm just in midway, actually. But if I want to give a few suggestions, I would say try Biology, B-U-Y, Biology, and try Influence by Robert Cialdini, brilliant book, and try Oversubscribed. These books gives you new perspective about marketing. So there are many great sales and marketing books out there. I've read many of them, but I think these three that I just told you bring in new perspectives about marketing, which you probably have not read or thought about unless you, for example, work in neuromarketing. Okay, unless on that, then you already know all that. So I think the way these three books have covered big aspects of marketing is very, very unique, and I would recommend these top 3 books in my opinion.
Definitely. I mean, I got to add a little into that, the Psychology of Selling. I mean, it's a really, really old book, but when on my first job as the salesman, they made us, the whole team, read it.
Oh, really?
That you really understand, what kind of selling is, right? The motivation.
Yes.
What drives people to purchase, right? So it's an interesting book. Would recommend that.
And a lot of it is internal, we might not realize, but like fear of rejection. Exactly. So it's how do you deal with fear of rejection? I remember my very first sales job as well, marketing, because when you start as a junior, you're marketing dash sales usually, right? So you got to do what you got to do. And And I always had that fear of rejection. I was taking it so personal. It was really getting to my heart and brain, like for the whole day I was depressed. And on the other hand, when I was closing something, I was happy for like 2 days. Then I realized that you shouldn't take it too personal. It's like conversation, it's your job. It's like a doctor that, treats patients. Like if you heavily rely and invest yourself in their well-being, you can't really focus on what you have to do. Rather, you would be relying on what happens every day, and your mood would be dependent on many factors that, is out of your control. So yeah, it's many things internal and in your own brain and your own thoughts as well.
I would agree with that as well. And well, then next up here, Ali, is if there be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Ooh, no boundaries.
Yep.
That's a very good question. I think most people would say something about outreach, something about outreach that really, really is customized and makes sense for you. Like it works for you, because there are so many great outreach solutions out there, but may not work for your niche and your business for any reason. Okay. There are so much challenges because every industry is different. Every sector of the industry is different. And, this is just different. But what I would say, if there was no technology and I could do everything, I would probably say I could study my competitors very, very well. Like it was an open source for all my competitors. So for example, here in UK, it's quite a transparent market, right? So for example, you can go to company's house, you can go and see the people, the shareholders, you can see how much they filed last year, or many other things, how much there was total investment, all these kind of things. But I think there's still so much about your competitors or anything in the world of marketing, regardless of which industry or where you are, that would just help you so much with your business development and your strategy for the future. So if for example, your competitor is going to invest heavily on this area, then, okay, you might be able to invest in another area rather than just, stealing their ideas or whatever. I'm just talking about having this kind of freedom to make right strategies very transparently. I would say that.
Okay, great. Love that. And well, so, I mean, you mentioned that you work in a lot of automation, but is there something that she could automate still, or what would that look like?
I would say, there is one thing that I had a challenge even in my previous jobs, that is, if you are introducing something new, or if it's not a very total new thing, but it has a new proposition or a new workflow or a new product or a new way of implementation, etc. There is a space for educating people and building the culture for people. So if I could build that system where I could introduce my clients and say, hey, listen, these are a series of videos or a series of, educational content for you to understand how easily our products can be implemented. What is our very unique workflow, et cetera, et cetera. And if I could do that in an automated way, that would be phenomenal. But, that's really tricky because people have different backgrounds and different experiences with that kind of particular technology, and they have different concerns, right? So we spend a lot of time trying to discover these concerns, because obviously they might not tell you straight up. They might tell or they might not. And then you need to figure out what are the problems and then try to solve it and resolve it and try to explain it. And it's very tricky to automate that, and I find it fascinating when I see some, larger companies trying to educate elderly, for example, how to use mobile apps for banks, right? That is a big challenge, in terms of crossing the chasm. They are the laggards, and the extra mile they have to go in order to bridge them into the new product that they have is quite challenging. And I think that is where we are trying to focus right now and trying to make that automated bridging and culture building.
Okay, perfect. Great, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And well, lastly, then, Ali, I mean, you have already experienced it in the marketing world, but what would be that one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
I would say industry is more important than field of marketing. For instance, if you are really, really passionate about sports industry, travel industry, health tech industry, hospitality industry, it is more important to get a different job, but in that industry, rather than, being a marketing manager in an industry that you absolutely hate. Okay. So, this is something that we never been taught in university or in schools or, everywhere really. And this is something that I had to learn in a hard way. So I had senior roles, I had better salaries, etc., but in industries that I didn't love, and therefore I couldn't grow. So all the networks and all the people that I managed to get there are not very highly relevant to me now. Of course, any network, any experience is valuable. Don't get me wrong, but what if you could have all those connections relevant, So industry is very important. So if you are in your early career or you're, a student or you're looking to get into marketing, definitely consider that for example, if your ideal job is marketing director in a healthcare industry sector, if you have a role in digital marketing or email marketing or SEO or content marketing, or something not very directly relevant to what exactly you want to do, but in that field, that would help you much faster to make the right transition to your perfect job, rather than having a marketing director role in another industry. Because the more you go senior, the people want the people who are relevant in their industry. And this is so, so important. And no one has ever told us this. And this is the main thing I try to tell to people who come to me, or when I go to universities, give lectures. This is what I say. I say, guys, industry, my opinion, is more important than what is your title, your job title.
I love that input. Definitely some great advice there for marketers out there that are starting off. So thank you so much for sharing that.
It's a pleasure.
Ali. And well, I mean, we are coming to the end of our time here, Ali, in today's episode. But before I do end, I do want to give you the last word. Say someone forgets everything about the interview today. What is that one thing they should remember about Sponixtech?
I want to say something that is the technologies that you see around you, right? Might be successful as it is, but you cannot have something fully creative and new. The technology that we have is existing for over 13 years, but it was never able to serve the community to the extent that it is today. And that is thanks for our new workflow that we managed to launch. So what I'm saying is, this is so important. I try to make it more general as well. If you see something great, the product is working perfectly fine, try to see how you can add one element or change the operation or change the workflow or change the implementation or the way that it operates, and try to make it 10 times better. And that is what we did in Sponix. We used technologies that already existed. We didn't create a technology from scratch, but we managed to close down the traditional ways of operation. There's no hardware, there's no cameras, there's no ISO camera requirements or nothing. We just work with the very final program feed to make the magic happen. So the one thing I say with Sponix is that we change the boundaries with the workflow, and we brought up something very valuable, which is fully remote software solutions in sports industry. We sure face so much challenges, but what we have, it's very valuable because it's fully remote and it's hassle-free for our clients. And that is the most important thing that we could bring on to the table.
Definitely important. And well, to our listeners, you could always check them out at sponixtech.com. And remember, the technology, that company that provides solutions, services which helps broadcasters, TV channels, and advertisers increase viewers and enhance fan experience. Ali, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm looking forward to our next episode at PathMonk Presents. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.